everyone, welcome to our channel, Rebecca, Stu, and the crew. I'm so happy to have y'all here today. Today we have some new Dollar Tree Christmas DIY ideas. We'll go over our supplies for each craft before we do it. So we will need some of this flexible wire from Dollar Tree. It comes in several colors. Also some of the natural wood beads on the twine rope. You might need more than one. Also the wooden stickers. We'll use the ones covered in glitter, and one foam cone. We'll also need some scissors and some hot glue. So let's get crafty. This is a very simple craft. I've seen these all over at craft stores, but they're quite expensive. And I was like, I know I could make this way cheaper using items from the Dollar Tree, and I intend to do so. And I just love a bargain. I don't like to pay retail. I want to get, the most for my money. So that's where I decided to go ahead and show you guys how you can make these yourself as well. So we're going to take that flexible wire after we take the beads off of the twine, and we're just going to take that wire and wrap it around the foam cone that we can use over and over again to create more of these. And we're going to use the whole piece of wire going all the way to the top. And once we get to the top, if it's a little short, then you can just go ahead and continue to twist your wire in this spiral shape. Then just remove the cone and set it aside. Like I said, we could use it again to make more of these. So now we've kind of adjusted the spirals a little bit to make sure they're equally spaced. And we're going to start at the bottom of the coil. We are going to create basically what is like our anchor, so all the other beads will stay on. So we just put one of the wood beads on, and then we take that wire and we twist it around so that it will hold that bead on. And then you can start putting your beads on the wire from the top. And then these just twist down like those little children's toys that you see where you slide the beads on and you can move them up and down the wire. That is what we're doing here. So now these beads are a little bit small, and therefore, since I used the whole entire piece of wire, I found once I got near the top that I wasn't going to have enough beads. So I had to get another strand, and I think I used probably like 15 or 20 from the second strand. So you don't need a whole lot, but you might need some if those are the beads that you're using. Now, if you use like the wooden wreath that they have with the beads on it, those beads are a little bit larger, and if you use that to get the beads off of it, you wouldn't need as many for your tree, just because the beads are bigger and they'll take up more space. So it really just depends on which beads you use, but they have those natural wood bead wire wreaths that you could use. That wire is a lot thicker and harder to bend, which is why I did not use those to create these trees. It's already on the wire. It might actually be easier, but I thought it was a little hard to bend and wasn't working out all that great. So once we have all of our beads on, what we're going to do is just create another anchor at the top to make sure that the beads all stay on. Just put your last bead on with a little bit of space left at the end with the wire, and then you're just going to bend that around the last bead to hold it in place. And then you can go ahead and adjust all your coils. They get bent just a little bit as you're adding your beads to the wire, so you want to make sure you adjust it so it's nice and straight and evenly spaced. We'll set that aside. And then taking these little wooden stickers from Dollar Tree, they come on a sheet. Some of them are covered in glitter and some of them are just the natural wood. I wanted mine to have the glitter. Kind of blends in with the natural color of the wood beads here. And we're just going to put a little bit of hot glue and hold that on to the very last bead that we put onto the tree. And if the bead wants to slip around, making the stars fall over, just add a little dot of glue in the hole to the last bead to keep it standing upright and it won't slip around then. So that's our finished tree. Now the supplies for our second DIY. This one's going to be really simple. I wanted to decorate a tiered tray, and I wanted this little potted farmhouse style tree. So I'm going to use those little bottle brush trees, a small pail, some ribbon, and a pool noodle or some foam of your choice. We're also going to need a sticker of your choice. You could either use the wooden stickers or a regular Christmas sticker. It's really up to you. So let's get crafty. We're going to take some foam. Any foam will do. I'm using a pool noodle because that's what I have. And we're going to just cut a slice and then make it a little bit smaller so it will fit in these pails. By the way, these pails are found over by the bridal shower items that you find at the Dollar Tree. They're like for favors and things like that. And they come between 2 and 3 in a pack. The older ones had 3. The newer packs only carry 2. But they already have a ribbon in it as well, which is what we're going to use for the top of the tree. And like I said, I'm just doing this craft as a very simple craft to put on one of those tiered trays that you can decorate. And I just filled the pail with the foam about halfway to 3/4 of the way. Then taking some hot glue, we're going to glue the bottle brush tree into the little pail to create the planter. And then just make it your own. You can add, like I said, the ribbon to the top that comes with the pails. You can make a small bow and add that to the top and then add a sticker to the pail to make it look a little bit more farmhouse. You could add more ribbons all the way around the tree. You could glue some little beads on to look like ornaments. It's really up to you. But a very simple, easy craft. Now for our third craft, the supplies we'll need are the pool noodles. We'll need some puffy paint. Also, we're going to use some apple barrel paint and paintbrushes. We'll need a little eyelet for the hook and then a pool noodle knife to cut the foam. We'll need scissors and hot glue. So let's get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do, again, we're going to cut a slice of the pool noodle. You want it to be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick. Cut as many as you like. And then what you're going to do is take your scissors and you're going to take that blunt edge that you created by cutting straight through that pool noodle. And you're just going to round out the edge by trimming that edge off with your scissors. And as you can see, I'm not taking a whole lot off. I'm just trimming that very cornered edge off and rounding it out. And then if you have some sandpaper or like an emery board, you can sand it a little bit. You're not going to get a whole lot off with that sandpaper, but it'll be enough to help kind of smooth out where you cut and just kind of take off those little pieces that are popping up. And it even helps kind of pop up some pieces and help you see where you need to trim it a little bit more. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. So once you've got them rounded out on the top and the bottom, then you can go ahead and mix up your paint and paint your foam donuts here. So that's what we're creating. Each year I create a strawberry shortcake tree. I collect them and it's so cute. I like to add little things to it each year. So last year we made these really cute gingerbread ornaments out of the air dry clay Dollar Tree sells. I'll link the video at the top so you guys can see that if you missed it. And then this year we did the macaroons and the little baking trays that we did last week in that video. And then this week I thought it would be cute to add some little cappuccinos and some donuts to my ornaments this year to add to the tree. So these little foam donuts, you just want to paint whatever color you like. I mean, they pretty much can be any flavor by adding different color paints and frosting to the top. So these are really fun. You could actually add these to the tiered tray if you have like a Candyland kind of gingerbread theme. If you've got a tiered tray that you like to decorate by not adding a hook to the donut, or if you want to put them on a tree, then go ahead and add the eyelet so you can put these on a tree with a hook. But you're just going to paint these whatever color you like and then let that paint dry. And then taking your puffy paint, they do sell puffy paint at Dollar Tree. I just have this on hand, so I'm going to use what I already own. And we're just going to create this squiggly line with the paint to create a border. You want this a little bit thicker. And then the inside, you can go ahead and fill with the paint, but you don't have to put it as thick. Once you get that border on the inside and the outside edge, then you can fill it in with the paint and it keeps it from dripping down the side. And what I do is just squirt a little bit of paint in and then drag it with the tip so that I can fill it in and don't have it super thick. You want it a little bit thinner so it doesn't take too long to dry. So we'll do both of these exactly the same with the frosting on top, the white frosting. Now this one here, I chose to do the red and green stripes. I thought they'd look kind of like those little Debbie Christmas trees that are super popular, the ornaments this year. And then you guys, I ended up bumping the paint. I was so disappointed in myself. I ended up having to kind of touch it up a little bit. I'm going to probably make another one, but you'll see here in a minute how I messed it up. Now the second one, I chose to use these small glass beads that they use for like ornament fillers Dollar Tree sells. You can get them in the blue or the white beads. And then I've got the ornament filler tiny snowflakes, and I add those to the top of the wet paint so it looks like sprinkles on top. So really anything you have on hand that's small, you can use to create like little sprinkles or the stripes and frosting on your little donut. And you want to add these while they're wet so that when it dries, it holds them in place. So now we're going to take our scissors and just poke a hole in the side of the donut. You don't want to go all the way through, but you want to go deep enough that you can get the small ring inside. And taking some low temperature hot glue, because you don't want to melt the pool noodle, you're going to add a little bit of hot glue and then just slide the O-ring in the top, and that will create the space that we can add a hook to it or a piece of string to tie it to the tree. So I messed up the frosting here, so I ended up just taking a skewer and I kind of dragged the paint. I should have went the other direction. Once I thought about it, it was a little bit too late. But I just kind of dragged the paint to make it look a little bit more decorative. I was so disappointed in myself. I bumped it like 3 times. I just could not stop messing up this donut. I don't know what my problem was, but I think I was tired. But anyways, these are the little donuts all done. And now for our fourth craft here, we're going to use some little Diamond Daily cups or these small little mini cups from Dollar Tree. I got them both at Dollar Tree. Also this Play-Doh air dry clay, some paint and paint brushes. And then we'll use these straws. They're the paper straws you can get at Dollar Tree in the party section. We'll need some school glue or Mod Podge will work. And then we'll need some scissors and hot glue. Also some stickers, or you can use a recycled label from a Starbucks container. So let's get crafty. So this is what we're going to do for this one. We're just going to paint the inside of the cup to represent kind of like a Starbucks, like a Frappuccino or something like that. You know, the colors of coffee. You want to add some chocolate syrup to the bottom, which is my idea here with the dark chocolate. And then I go very lightly over top of the edge there so I don't scrape the paint off. It wasn't completely dry yet. And I'm using a mocha colored paint and just painting the whole inside of the cup. You want to put it on thick enough because it does streak a little bit. You want it to dry so you can't see through the cup. And just kind of fill that all in, then set it aside to dry. While that's drying, we can work on the lid. We're going to use the inside of the lid to paint and leave the outside as our base to add some like whipped cream on the top. This is the perfect cup for this. Now Dollar Tree sells those little condiment cups. I found these over by the like Ziploc bags last week. So we've got the inside of the cup painted, and then go ahead and just pop the lid on. And now we'll start using that air dry clay to add some whipped cream to the top. Now I used that little tiny red cup that looks like a small Dixie cup, and I made another coffee out of that one. The only difference is you don't have to paint the inside of the cup because obviously you can't see what's inside of it because it's red. The only different thing that I did was I didn't paint the inside. Instead, I filled the inside of the cup with some foam. And I just hot glue the foam in place, and I get it all the way to the top of the cup, pretty much like I'm doing here with the lid. I wanted something flat across the top to create a base so I could add the whipped cream with the clay. So you just want to add the foam in that little tiny cup all the way to the top and kind of cut it straight across the top of the cup. And then you can use that as the base to build up your whipped cream with the air dry clay. I didn't want to show both of them, like all the steps, just because it's pretty redundant and it's self-explanatory. You want to fill that cup up so you have something to build the Play-Doh up on, if that makes sense. So now we're just going to take that whipped cream and just roll these coils and slowly work our way up, creating this whipped cream. And you want to be careful that you're not collapsing it. So you don't want to push down too hard, but you do want to push the pieces together so that they're sealed together. And then you can add your hanger. I have another little eyelet that I'm going to stick into the air dry clay while it's wet. If you want, you can add a little dot of hot glue as well, or just pinch the clay around it to make sure it's in there nice and secure and won't come out once the air dry clay dries. You could also add your straw now if you like, it's up to you. So these little squirt bottles Dollar Tree sells in a 2-pack. I just happen to have one on hand and it worked perfectly for this craft. So what I did is I took some school glue and some melted chocolate apple barrel paint, and we mixed that together in this bottle to create a chocolate drizzle. You could also use the glossy Mod Podge, which would help keep this a little bit more shiny when the chocolate dries or the chocolate paint dries. So I just mixed that up in this small squeeze bottle. You don't need a lot. And then we're going to go ahead and drizzle it on top of that whipped cream. I always start it on a paper towel to make sure it's coming out okay. And then we go ahead and make these little drizzles down the top of the whipped cream. Like I said, if you want to add the straw before you add the chocolate drizzle, you can do that. I kind of slipped my mind, so I did the drizzles first and did the straw last. But it kind of would make more sense to put the straw in first, just in case you push any of that whipped cream down and kind of collapse it. That way you can pull it back up and fix it so you have that nice little triangle kind of dome shape on the top. It's a little bit harder to do with the paint already on, but you do want to put the straw in while it's still soft enough to get the straw into the air dry clay. Now, of course, you're going to get some drips down the side of your cup. Just wipe those off with a wet wipe. Once the whole thing dries, it comes right off. So once the drizzles are on, I went ahead and added my straw. I just went really slow so I didn't collapse the air dry clay here. And then I just kind of pull up a little bit if it looked like it was kind of squishing in too much on one side. And then I trimmed down the straw. I went a little bit at a time. I didn't just cut it right where I thought it would be because I wanted to kind of hold it back and check and make sure it was, not too short. So now taking that Starbucks label, we want to just use this as a recycle label here. We're going to cut the paper off of the container and then just cut it down to size. Now, if you don't have a Starbucks container, that's fine. You could also print some stickers or just a printable on some computer paper and cut that down, and you can use that on your cup. You don't have to add any label to your cup. You can just leave it as is. I wanted mine to look like little Starbucks cups, so that's why I'm using the label here. But like I said, if you type in like Starbucks printable label, you can find them all over the internet. They're super easy to find, and you can print those out and just cut them out and add them to your cup. So I cut out 2 different labels, all from the same one. I just cut them apart to make 2 different ones here. I decided to use the Starbucks label on the larger cup and then the peppermint mocha on the smaller cup, which I'll show you guys here in just a second. There's lots of ways to add it to the cup. You can use this double-sided tape that Dollar Tree sells. You could also use Mod Podge or just some glue. It's really up to you. And once I got that tape on, I just trim around the edges and then peel the backing off of the tape and add it to the cup. And I don't do anything else to this. I just leave it the way it is. I don't add any Mod Podge or anything like that. And I did wait to make sure all of the paint was dry before I did this because I learned my lesson from the donut when I messed up the paint. Lessons learned. So as you can see, that double-sided tape worked really well. Again, you can use these little mini cups to make a smaller coffee, which is what I did. Same steps, just fill that cup with foam. And then I added the peppermint mocha label in the same way with the double-sided tape. And there is a hook in the back there as well in the whipped cream. So those are our 2 little coffee cup ornaments. Again, you can use those on a tiered tray along with this little tree and the donuts, or you can add the hooks so that you can add those to your tray or your tree. I hope you guys enjoy learning how to make these crafts with me today. I really enjoyed showing you how to do them. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and especially share this video. It really helped me get these videos seen a little bit better. I put a lot of work into them. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.